Hey, Tom Rule here, coming to you from the Outhouse Studio. Just thought I'd talk a little bit about, if you find me online, look me up online, you'll see that there's a computer stuff and then there's some music stuff, a lot of music stuff, but a fair amount of computer stuff. In fact, I've had a series of articles published over on techrepublic.com back in the 90s about doing technology in a high school. And occasionally I'll jump in on conversations on LinkedIn or Twitter or X about various, especially AI in education here lately. And it's part of the reason why my email tagline is Living Proof God Has a Sense of Humor, because I am. I'm a left-handed Southern Baptist musician who's the staff pianist for the Presbyterian church in town. Used to do live music for an Easter show for Church of God, the biggest Church of God over in Alabama, Summerton, Alabama. And I was the technology director for a Catholic school for well over a decade. So, and I've done various Macintosh stuff, and I've got the studio in here and networking and whatnot. So somebody pointed out to me recently, thanks Brad, that those two areas have some common areas, and one of them is where you see a problem, you figure out what the problem is, and you solve the problem. Now that's obvious in technology. You've got the network that's misbehaving, you see the problem, you figure out what the problem is, and then you solve it. Or the printer that's not working. Or a student's iPad that's not working. But you've got the same problem, same kind of setup in music as well, at least the way I work it. The problem, I need to come up with a prelude for Sunday. And here, over the last decade or so, a lot of what I've been doing is improvised before church. And those will eventually leak out into print and audio and whatnot. Keep an eye on tomrule.bandcamp.com for to see what I'm working on and as I post things, because that's where I'm posting stuff. But the prelude, well, what's the problem? I need to come up with something. So how do you fix the problem? Most Sundays I look at the hymns that we're singing or the choruses, and that'll start a process in my head. Well, what can I do with this? And then solving the problem is actually coming up with stuff. So a lot of these I do have recordings. Sometimes it's with a legitimate mic, and sometimes it's just sticking the iPhone under the piano and see what comes out, because I never know. But it is just interesting how those two eras of my life, the keyboards and the technology, combined. And it was, thanks Brad for pointing that out. It's an interesting little thing to ponder. Anyway, keep an eye on this space. We'll have more tales from the outhouse coming soon. I'm Tom Rule. Sayonara.